So, good morning again. This is Melanie, Collect Your Business Diva for Money Talk with Melanie. I was supposed to do 5 minutes of personal finance at the end of the last show, and I neglected to do it because the guest was just so good. I extended her into the final segment, but I wanted to make sure that I did it because I thought that it was kind of an important topic, which is do your emotions affect your finances? And I ran into an article. I subscribe to several informational financial websites just to try to keep my game up, so to speak. And I ran into an article on the Daily Worth that I wanted to highlight, and I want to make sure that I give the author credit who wrote the article. But the article was written by Liz Weston at the Daily Worth. So I wanted to make sure I gave her credit for this information that I'm about to share with you. But I thought it was a really important topic, and you should subscribe to the Daily Worth. If you don't, feel free to send me a check, Daily Worth. But it really is a fantastic site. But I thought the topic of how your emotions affect your finances was important enough to just do a quick video and make sure that I handled that, since I neglected to do so on my show. So the answer to the question is yes. I agree with that completely. One of the things that I like to do on my show is kind of marry the spiritual and human aspects of success in business and in finance. And when I ran into that article, I thought this is definitely something that I want to share with my audience. So, how do your emotions affect your finances? And I thought what was highlighted in the article was very interesting. For example, you ever heard of retail therapy? Who of us have not heard of this? And that's when you're feeling kind of down, feeling kind of sad or whatever, and you decide to go shopping to make you feel better. And according to the article, studies show that you actually legitimately feel better when you shop. I know I do. I mean, I might be feeling a little down, but a new dress or a new pair of shoes does me right. So that is a legitimate thing. What's another thing? When you are angry, you are more prone to make rash decisions. None of us have ever done that, though. That absolutely never happens, right? that you tend to do that, but it's true. If you're angry, you might take bigger risks, or you might be stubborn about a bad decision. What if you're afraid? Okay, what if you're fearful? What if you, and I'll take it a step further than what the article says, but what if you have some type of anxiety, that's prolonged for whatever reason? When you're doing that, you might spend more money on things like insurance and things like that. And if it's to the point where it's a disorder, you might spend more than what you need to on that. What about guilt? How do we feel about guilt? What happens if we're feeling guilty? Maybe we can right the ship by donating more money, being more altruistic in our spending. If we feel guilty about something, maybe you feel guilty about your success. Maybe you feel guilty about something you wronged someone in some kind of way, and so you decided to buy them a gift. That affects your money. So that's another way in which your emotions are affecting your finances and affecting your spending. If you have an attitude of gratitude, if you're thankful, which is always good to be, you might not spend as what's the word I'm looking for? As extravagantly, or may not spend unnecessarily if you stay in a place of gratitude, meaning you already are grateful for everything that you already have. That's what they refer to as an attitude of gratitude. You don't need any more, because you're already grateful for what you have. And that's I would say, a net positive effect on your spending. This is not to say that spending is a bad thing, but if you stay in a place of gratitude for everything that you already have, then you're not trying to fill this hole, which sometimes people do. And anybody who's ever been through that, where there's things going on in your life and you're simply shopping to fill a hole, you'll know when you've gotten past that, because you won't feel the need to do that. So that's just something I'm totally not speaking from personal experience. But seriously, stop shopping. You will know that you've got to where you need to be. What about actually, I think that's it. I think that's the plethora. That is the plethora of emotions that the article talked about. But I thought it was just so important, I didn't want to skip it. So the advice of the article, and I concur, is to get in touch with your feelings financially. It is important, especially before you go spending something, right? Before you go spending money you don't have. Think about why you're doing it. Are you self-soothing with a new dress? And listen, every now and then, give yourself a break, self-soothe with a dress if you can afford it. But the point is, you don't want to make a habit of it. You don't want your emotions to drive your finances all the time. Ideally, you want reasoning and planning and budgeting and all of that good stuff to drive what it is that you're doing with your wallet, because ultimately that's going to lead you to financial freedom and success. Anywho, that's your 5 minutes of personal finance that I did not do on my show today, and hopefully you found it useful. And please do have an absolutely fantastic weekend. Remember, it's important because it's your money.